Hello friends. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and for those of you who don't know me, my name's Rebecca, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a simple smoky eye that literally anyone can do. Only 3 colors, only 3 brushes, no big deal. And if you're worried about my face and why it is so red, well, I'm a little worried too, because I don't know why that happens. It just comes out of the blue, and that's not all. That is one hot ear. Why, God? And if you haven't subscribed yet, then what are you doing? Go ahead and hit that little button. Also, don't forget to turn on the bell. That way you're notified every single time that I post. And don't forget to like the video either, because that's just a really nice thing to do. Thanks. With all that said, let's stop talking and let's get into the tutorial. I am ready. You are ready. I've got my brushes, got my palette. Let's do this. So for the smoky eye today, I'm going to be using the Tati Beauty palette. This palette is perfect for a smoky eye. It's got tons of neutrals and a little pop of color. I am obsessed with this palette. If you do not own it, go buy it. It's amazing. So whenever you're doing a look with eyeshadow, I always recommend do your eyeshadow before your foundation. Just trust me, it is going to save you so much hassle and so much frustration, because what's going to happen is you're slapping on your eyeshadow just like willy-nilly whatever, but guess what? It's going to fall down on your face and then it's going to make you look like you were punched in the eye, and we don't want that. So I always recommend do your eyes first. Now, if you're not used to doing your eyes first, it might seem a little weird at first and it can be scary a little bit, and let me explain why. You're sitting there, you're putting on your eyeshadow, doing a smoky eye, but all of a sudden you look at yourself and think, I look insane. I look crazy. I need to wipe this off. Don't do it. Don't wipe it off. Leave it on your face. You don't look insane. You just sort of look insane because you don't have your foundation, you don't have your base all cleaned up and perfect the way you want it to be, you don't have your brows on, so you might look a little crazy. But that's okay. Just trust the process. Trust me. I won't steer you wrong. Maybe financially, but we're not going to talk about that. Before you go slapping on your eyeshadow, stop and ask yourself, did I put on a primer? If you haven't, then you should probably go grab one and put it on your eyes. Why? Because a primer is going to help give your shadow something to attach to, something to stick to, something to bond to, and also what it's going to help with is creasing throughout the day. Our eyes produce oils throughout the day, so if you don't have any barrier on your eyelid between your oils and your shadow, what's going to happen is you're going to start getting creasing where your eye folds naturally, and that's not a good look. So make sure you're priming your eyes. Today I'm using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I've used this for forever. It's always worked for me. I've never had any issues with it, so if you don't have a good primer, pick it up, try it out, see if you like it. Now, you want to be priming your eye all the way up to your brow and even outside of your eyelid a little bit. Anywhere that shadow is going to touch or go, you want to make sure it's got that to grip onto. Well, let me zoom you in. You're kind of far away. Oh, welcome to the party, folks. And make sure you are tapping that in completely. I always kind of rub it on and then I'll do a tapping motion to make sure it's really sinking into the skin. And to create this look, I just need 3 different shades of brown, 1 light, 1 medium, and 1 dark. So you can do this look with any other color palette you want. Purples, greens, blue, anything you're feeling. You just need 1 light, medium, and dark. That's it. So if you got red in front of you and you say, crap, she's doing browns, well, calm down, Johnny, it's gonna be fine. Now, something I've seen a lot of people do is after they put on their primer, they'll take a eyeshadow that's like close to their skin tone and kind of tap it over their eye. Don't do that. And the reason to not do that is you're kind of defeating one of the main purposes of putting on the primer in the first place, is you're taking away the chance for your eyeshadow to bond with that primer and grip onto it. If I take an eyeshadow and slap it on that's the same color as my skin, well then I take the next shade and I'm putting it on top of the eyeshadow. Now it's like rubbing against eyeshadow and not like sticking to that primer. As long as you're not using crap eyeshadow, you should be fine. So don't set it, don't forget it. What am I talking about? So first thing I am starting with today is I'm going to use Soothe as my transition shade. This would be the lightest shade that you're going to use. Now typically in your crease, you're not going to use a shimmery color. You really want to stick to a matte because the purpose of putting this shadow on my eye is to add depth to my crease. If I take a shimmer and put that in my crease, well, I'm kind of defeating the purpose of adding depth to my eye because that shimmer is going to catch the light, which is going to push your eye forward, and that's not what you want for your crease. To make your eyes appear open, you would use the shimmer on your lid to push that forward, to open it up, but we want some depth and dimension, so you really want to keep those matte shades in the crease. So I'm just going to be using a fluffy blending brush for my first color. Whenever you're doing any kind of blending, you want to make sure you are using a fluffy brush just like this, never something dense and flat. That's going to pack on pigment and it's going to make it impossible to blend out. So make sure you have a blending brush. If you do not, good luck, sailor. It's going to be real fun doing the smoky eye and it's going to turn out not great. So get your hands on a blending brush. So I'm going to dip into that shade and press it down on the outer corner of my eye. Once I've set it down, I'm going to start blending that over. Just back and forth motions. So I always set it down first on the corner of my lid and then bring it over. The goal is to have your eye fading from light to dark. So whenever you dip into your palette and pick up your brush, wherever you place down your brush first is going to get the deepest pigment. So you want to be pressing that down to the corner, blending over, because remember we're trying to get that fade. If I dip into my shadow and press like in the middle of my eye, well, it's making it harder for me to blend out and create that fade. And once you've got on a decent amount of pigment, like if you look at my eye right now, there is a harsh line right here. You don't want that. We want it to be blown out softly, fading out nicely. So to get rid of that line, I'm just going to take my brush, it doesn't have any more pigment on it, and I'm going to blend it back and forth over that edge. So if you look at my eye, you can see I kind of stopped it right about here. I'm not bringing that color all the way over. I'm just stopping it like right about there. Also, another tip, if you are blending and your eye is like pulling back and forth, you are putting way too much pressure on your brush. To help not do that, make sure you're holding your brush towards the end, not at the top. If I'm holding this brush and I'm trying to blend out my crease, well, I'm gonna have a lot less control of how much pressure I'm putting on my face, and I'm going to be much heavier handed. But if you start learning how to hold it at the end, it's gonna be naturally so much softer. If it feels weird at first, that's just the way it feels, but you'll get used to it. Start now, break the bad habit of holding it at the front of your brush. Just practice and it will feel natural before you even know it. Trust me. Okay, now I've got that blown out to a place I am happy with. I'm just going to do the same thing on this eye. All right, I am done with that color, so I'm now going to dip into the shade Ritual. So now that I'm switching to my deepest color, I'm going to also switch brushes. I need a little more precision, but I still need to be able to blend it out. So the brush I'm using is just going to be a smaller blending brush. So I'll show you a comparison between the two. This is the bigger one that I just used, and you can see the one for the deeper shade is significantly smaller. Now I'm going to pick up some of that onto my brush. Not a ton. Build your look up slowly, especially if you're newer. Start with less pigment and build it slowly. I'm gonna press this onto my lid right in the outer corner. This is where you want it to be deepest. It's going to fade to light this way and fade to light this way. So really right in this corner is where we want it to be deepest. Now a big mistake you can make right here is instead of pressing that pigment down on your lid, people will press it down to the outside of their eye. Now if you do that, what's going to happen is you're going to start blending it, and soon it's going to go further and further, and it's past your eyebrow at this point, and it's covered up the lighter shade that you just put on. So always start it on the corner of your lid, and then you're going to blend it out, and it's going to naturally blow out by itself. It's not going to turn into this muddy, dramatic mess. Starting it on the lid and bringing it into the crease. I'm super light-handed with this color because I really want to be precise to where it goes. And as my pigment leaves my brush, I'm kind of very softly blending it up just a little so I don't have a line. And now I'm starting to bring it over just a little bit. And we're bringing it over at kind of like an angle. It's not going to be brought over straight up and down. I'm bringing it over at an angle. Now something you can do right now is stop, pick up your bigger blending brush, and right on the crease, just kind of blend that out. Because what could happen is it could start creating a line to dark to light. So now this is where you kind of have to make your decision of how intense you want this to be, because this is where you're really adding that intensity, that depth. So you can stop here or keep going. I like things a little bit more dramatic, so I'm gonna build it up just a touch. All right, so I think that's about as intense as I'm gonna go with this look. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I know, at this point, you might be looking at yourself and thinking, holy crap, I look insane. But just remember what I told you. Calm down, take a breath. Once you get on the rest of your face, you're gonna look amazing. Okay, now I am moving into my lightest shade, which is going to be a shimmer shade. Now you can keep your look completely matte. You do not have to use shimmer, totally up to you. I'm gonna be going into the shade Aura, I think it is. All right, now we're not gonna be blending so much. We're going to be packing on pigment. So what that means is we are switching brushes here. I'm gonna be using something flat and dense. The denser the brush, the more pigment it's going to pack on, and we really want to load up these eyes and make them pop. So this is the brush that I'm going to be using. I just like that it's a little bit smaller, that way I can be way more precise with where I put down my pigment. So I'm just going to dip into that shade and I'm going to press that onto my lid. So I'm not doing any blending motions. You can see I am just pressing. Don't take your pigment and like swipe it across your eye. That's just gonna get rid of the pigment. You really want to build it. So just press it on. Now I'm going to take this shimmer onto my deeper color a little bit. And if you notice, I've kept it on my eyelid. I have not blended it up at all. So what I want to do is I want to blend out this harsh line going from this gold to my deepest shade. And to do that, I'm just going to wipe off the pigment on the back of my hand, make sure there's nothing left. And with the same brush, I'm gonna like lightly like tap it into that darker color, very lightly. And that just kind of blends it out a little bit. So see how it just kind of faded it into my eye? And then also I have this sharp line right here. I don't want that either. You can just take the same brush and right on the edge, just kind of light-handedly buff it out. Just make sure there's no extra pigment on your brush or you're just gonna keep building it up and up and up and you're gonna start looking insane. I'm just gonna do the exact same thing on my other eye. And actually this is the point where you can start holding your brush closer to the front, because you kind of want more pressure because you're building color. So see the difference between this side? I have that sharp edge and this side is just kind of softly faded out. All right, so the shadow on top of my eyes is done at this point, and I'm going to put on some liner and mascara. Now, because of the way my eyes are shaped, I like to use an eyeliner and tight line my eyes, which means taking a liner, any black liner you have, and I'll take my liner and run it underneath my lash line. To make it easier on yourself, make sure your iris is on the other side of your eye. So if I'm lining this part of my eye and my iris is right here, no way, I'm gonna stab myself in the eye and I'm gonna go crazy. So what I'll do is turn my head so that now my iris is on the other side of my eye and it's not in the way. Going back to the other side, just by turning your head and looking in the mirror, you can control where your iris is. So the reason I do this is because of how my eye is shaped. If I just line the top of my lid, you will see this like pink line underneath my lashes. It makes my lash line look not as full. So I just tight line my eyes to give it that depth and make my lashes look more full. Not every single person needs to do this step. If after you line your eyes, put on your mascara, if you don't see any pink under your eyes, then don't do this. It's just a waste of a step. But for me, it is completely necessary. Now for liner on my lid, if you are newer to makeup, I always suggest using a powder. I've been doing makeup forever and I always use powder for liner. It's just easier and you have so much control. It's way less intimidating. I love it and I've never had any issues with it. So for this, you're going to need a thin angled brush, and what you're gonna do is just take any black eyeshadow you have, or a very dark brown will work well too. If you're doing a softer, lighter eye, I would suggest using a dark brown opposed to a black, but this one's a little intense, so I'm going to use a black today. And I'll just dip into that black color, and what I'm going to do is start on the outer portion of my eye, and I'm just going to press that right above my lash line. Now, if you can see what I'm doing, I am not taking the shadow and just dragging it over my eyelid. No way, Jose. You're gonna want to do a pressing motion. It gives you so much control and it's really gonna build that pigment. So if you have problems with your eyelid moving or you getting like skips on your liner, then make sure that you are pressing it on and not pulling. Also, what you want is for the liner to be thinnest towards the inner corner, and as it fades out, get a little bit thicker. I'm not doing a wing or anything fancy today. I'm just putting on a thin line. Same thing on the other eye. I forgot to tight line my eyes. Well, that looks crazy. Actually, no, I'll use this as an example. This eye I have tight lined, and this eye I haven't. So if you're looking at my eyes, I think on camera you can see it, but I have like a pink line underneath my lashes, which makes it look much more sparse, and I don't want that. So let me just look at the camera. Oh, I'm blinding myself. I'm staring right into my lights. Anything for you guys. So to fix that, I'm just going to tight line my eye real quick. At this point, you can call this look done, move on to the rest of your face, but I really want to put on glitter. I just think it will look so pretty. You do not have to put on glitter. I'm just going to slap it on really quick. I just have to. I have to. So, 1 second. I'm going to be using the glitter in the Soothe shade. If you are not a dramatic person, do not follow this step. Look at the difference. I just went from like, oh yeah, she's really good at makeup to, wow, is she a movie star? Is she famous? Am I famous? No. Okay, at this point, or the step before this, just take your mascara and throw it on real quick if you have lashes. Now, personally, I have like 6 eyelashes, so I never just put on mascara, especially with a look like this. So I have to throw on some lashes. I'm not going to be teaching you how to do that today. That is going to be a whole separate video. There's lots to know, lots of tips. If you would like me to make a video on teaching you how to apply false lashes, leave a comment down below and let me know, because I don't know what you want. I can't read minds. Tell me what you want. What do you need? Tell me. Let me know. Just look at the difference that the lashes make. It just totally transforms this look. Okay, now that my lashes are on, I'm going to really quick finish the rest of my face, come back, and then we are going to finish under the eyes, and that's it. We're done. No big deal. See, wasn't that easy? All right, I am back. Rest of my face is done. So let's finish this eye look and get out the door, because we've got places to go, don't we? Not really. So what I want to do to finish this look is to bring a little bit of drama underneath my eyes. So what I'm going to do is take a black liner and I'm going to line my waterline, but I'm not going to bring it all the way in because I don't want to completely close my eyes. So just on my waterline, and I'm going to stop it like about there. So now going in with my smallest blending brush, I'm going to take the deepest shade that I used and run that right underneath my lash line and just kind of smoke it out a little bit. And I'm going to kind of connect that with my shadow out here. And again, I'm kind of fading it like thicker to thinner and darker to lighter across my bottom lash line. All right, same thing on the other side. Lastly, what I'm gonna do is highlight my inner corner. You do not have to do this. For some people, it's a lot, but I always like the way it looks, so I'm gonna do that. I always take my highlighter and use that in my inner corner. If you don't use highlighter, that's fine. Just use the same lightest shade that you used and put that in your inner corner. The highlighter I'm using is the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter. It's the shade Rose Gold. So these are the finished eyes close up. All right, that's it. The eye look is complete and you are ready to get out the door. It only took you maybe like a half hour. But you know what? In time, you're just gonna get faster and faster and better and better. And do not feel frustrated if your eye look did not come out perfect. It just takes practice. By following these steps and the right techniques, it's just gonna help you get better faster and faster. So be patient with yourself. Take a breath, calm down. The first time you do this, you're not gonna be a pro. Maybe the 10th time you do this, you're not gonna be a pro, but in time, you are gonna get so much better. Trust me, if you could see some of my first looks, well, so there is hope. Don't give up. Hey, stop it. Don't give up on yourself. You can do this. It's just makeup. And if it looks like garbage, just wipe it off and do it all natural. Up to you. Alright, and I think that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope you learned something new today. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you want a tutorial on something else, a different technique, a different eye look. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then what the heck are you doing? Get over here. We're having a blast. Look at all of us. Look at me and all my friends. But no, seriously, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that button and don't forget to turn on the bell. That way you get notified every single time that I post. Also, don't forget to like this video if you like this kind of content. Don't like it if you don't, I guess. That only is fair. Oh, also, I almost forgot. Don't forget to go follow my Instagram. I am an artist and I make all kinds of crazy crap over there. It's a fun time. You never know what I'm gonna post. My Instagram is youssef712. Go follow it. I don't know where it is. Just type that into your little phone and you're gonna see me. Hi friends. That's video number 8. I'm just gonna keep doing this at the end of every video and that's just gonna be how it is. 8 videos. Anyways, I think that's it for this video. So thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.